All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Morning, William. I hope you guys enjoyed the little break yesterday, and you made a productive use of your time. Cool. So let's jump right into it, right? Today, I hadn't actually planned on having a guest. It was just going to be the two of us, but um, we had a volunteer, you can say, who was eager to come on board and meet you guys. So I thought, why not? Let's have another guest today. So today we'll be talking to Zach. Zach works in the marketing and sales division of IT Varsity. He basically handles those entire departments. And I've actually wanted him to come on board for a long time. One is to introduce you to another member of the IT Varsity team, but more importantly, Zach has a very unique perspective, right, when it comes to online marketing. Um, 2 years ago, you could say he had almost no experience in this field. Um, and that was at a time where IT Varsity, we were still a very young business and we had a lot of figuring out to do. And because it's a small business, it's just a few people doing a lot of things, and we didn't really have the capacity to hire people to come and start up those departments for us. So Zach took on that responsibility, and over the past 2 years, he has honed his skills in marketing and sales, and basically pushed those entire departments forward. You could say that the success of IT Varsity's marketing and sales is almost entirely, or in very large part, due to him. And it was all skills that he picked up and learned on his own, and he honed them by actually implementing it. So today I want to talk to him a little bit about that, but more importantly, try to extract what he's learned over the past 2 years, and see how it can apply to you guys, because it's a very similar space. It's branding and marketing online, which is something that you guys need to learn to do when you start hunting for jobs and opportunities, and then sales, which is now selling your skills to them, to your prospective employers or clients or whoever it may be. Um, so yeah, I want to pick his brain a little bit about that, and I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions too. So as always, don't wait till the end to start posting your questions. As we go along, just drop them in, and we'll answer them as we move along. So yeah, over to you, Zach. I don't know if you want to do a bit of an introduction to yourself or anything, or would my introduction suffice?
No, I'd like to have a few words actually.
Go for it.
Uh, oh, yes. So first of all, I'm very honored to be here. To be at the place where our students, the one place where we can collaborate, on a weekly basis. I think it's fantastic. It's a great initiative that Tala has taken up. And I think it's extremely valuable to have these sessions. I watch every webinar that passes, and the people that come and talk, there's so much to learn from them. There's so much value to get from them. So that's great. I'm happy to be here. And a correction on your part, Tala, I've been at IT Varsity for over 3 years now, not two. Time
Time
flies.
flies,
It
yeah. My
it's almost
timelines get
2025.
I forget that a lot. It still feels like we just started 2024.
Yeah, and the other thing you failed to mention was that we are brothers, and this is a family business
Hmm.
that we are all in, and it's such an important aspect of our business is the fact that it's a family business because it gave me the opportunity to do whatever I want, and not in a
Hmm.
bad way, in a very productive way. It gave me the freedom to experiment with marketing and sales in a way that companies with budgets and projections and HRs and all these departments, they don't really have the freedom to anymore.
Hmm.
But we had that freedom. So I think our inexperience served us well. The fact that we could experiment with marketing and
Mm.
sales in that way. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I think, I mean, and this is an important point for you guys as well, because you'll find yourselves in similar scenarios, especially if you going the entrepreneurship road. Going into it, your inexperience can be an advantage because you don't have any preconceived ideas of what is the right and what is the wrong way to go about certain things. And so you have the freedom to experiment and pioneer completely new and innovative ways of doing it. And there's no one that's going to tell you not to, you know. If something is working for you, that's the right thing to do for your case, and you're free to you know, keep pushing in that direction and make something of that. Whereas if you went straight into working into a job role, they're gonna have guidelines that you're gonna need to stick to, and going against those is generally a big no-no.
yeah, I mean, look, if I could go into work and be told what to do, I would love that job. Do this, do that, do that. But to now go into a company or as an entrepreneur and have to make up everything
Mm,
that your company is and does, that's I think where the challenge really comes into play. Um, yeah, and sort of steering the conversation into where our role comes into play for our students is basically this. We tried everything with marketing. We tried to speak the language that appeals to professionals. We tried to take our
mm,
products out to various companies and institutes. Um, but what worked was um, the personal brand of our father, Bilal Katrada, and how significant that was throughout our lives. And yeah, I'd say more prominently in the last 2 years for the success of IT Varsity, for our company, and for his own personal career as well. Um, and what can we attribute that to? We can attribute that to the fact that beyond just a company and a brand, he was a person connecting to other people. And
mhm,
whether you're trying to get clients or trying to get a job, you're going to need to find that balance.
mhm.
Um, yeah, and I'll give you an example. See, companies these days are not looking for at a CV necessarily. It comes down to what they can find out about you. I don't know if you know this, Tala, but do you know companies actually go and check your social medias? They go check your
Mhm.
uh, online activity before they hire you.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's
yeah,
so easily available, it doesn't make sense for them not to.
100%. And if you are putting out things, content that sort of highlights you as an industry professional, well, that's the people they're gonna go for. You know, whether you
Mhm,
are if whether you are a junior or a senior at what you do, if you have proof of knowledge, proof of concept,
mhm,
social proof, whatever you want to call it, you are going to be the number one choice. And literally cannot stress that enough. It's
mhm.
not necessarily about your CV or your accolades. It's about you, the knowledge that you can show people that you have, and exaggerate if you
Right,
want,
right, right.
you know.
So, I mean, to basically like summarize what you're saying, right? I mean, personally, for me to understand information, I got like summarize it into point forms. So, if I were to do that with what you say now, basically your advice would be A, to have an online presence, as in post about the things that you're learning about, whether it's videos or images or text, even like if you have Twitter or microblogging, just post about what you're doing. And two, don't try to be too professional, but rather lean into the fact that you are an individual person.
The authenticity of it. Yeah,
Right, right.
100%. I mean, um, I'd hope that majority of people in this call want to go the entrepreneurship route and not, necessarily get stuck in a 9 to 5,
Hmm.
but for either one of those, if you're not making content, you're really just doing yourself a disservice. It's part of your job description these days as an
Hmm.
entrepreneur to make content. Because if you're not showing people what you are doing, you do not exist.
Right. So
It,
that's actually something I wanted to ask you, right? So I mean, you're very familiar with the courses we offer, right? And they're very practical. So a student that's graduated from any one of our development courses has like upwards of 25 different apps and websites that they've developed, and they are all very beautifully displayed in the portfolio website. Right? And I mean, most of our students put a lot of work into that and they create some truly stunning websites. But that's only half of the battle, right? I mean, if nobody is seeing that website, if nobody is visiting that, it's essentially just dead space on the internet. So advise us there, right? Put yourself in the role of a student who's just graduated. You've got a stunning little portfolio website, but now it comes time to actually get people visiting there or put it in front of people. One way is obviously you're going for a job interview or something, you send your link, but more organically, how does one get that kind of attention onto their portfolio site?
so that in my opinion, requires some creativity.
Hmm.
Um, See, nobody's just going to want to come and look at a random website. You have to understand that first.
Hmm.
People need a reason to be there. People want something in it for themselves to be there. So I would say your POE, your portfolio of evidence that you're currently compiling, will serve you extremely well as a showcase of your talents. But people are not going to be coming there to see your websites. They're going to be coming there to see you.
Right.
How did you, you know, make content that revolves around what you do. That's what I always say. So, for an example, a random thought here, right? You pick a charity. That's fun. It's creative, so go wild with the ideas. But you're just trying to get people to your website. But before I go there, right, to get people to a website and to purchase, we have a system for it that we discuss a lot, right? It's called a red, yellow, and green light system, right? And it works for every element of like business, but we mainly use it to track sales. So how it works is the red light is to make people aware of who you are. The red light must lead them into a yellow light. The yellow light is where you collect their information. The
Mhm.
red light content, for an example, or I'll break down the example and just go through all of them. And the green light is when they are convinced to make a purchase. When you have money in the bank, that's a green light. So red light could be a tutorial series that you run, right? Uh, Yellow light could be your, if you are a developer, you're going to need to give your client a consultation. That's your
Mm.
yellow light because you're collecting the details, you're effectively turning them into a lead, and then your green light will be after constant back and forth to get that sale. Now, when it comes to red light, what kind of content are we talking about? I'm talking about any type of the only parameter that you should have for this content is that it should allude to your website or
Mhm.
to your WhatsApp or to your phone, wherever people are going to reach you, wherever you can collect the information. So let's just say it's a website for now. You
Yeah.
are an entrepreneur, you create e-commerce solutions, make a tutorial video on e-commerce, make videos on e-commerce, make videos on commerce, become a business influencer, and say, my company doesn't make websites for you. No, we create solutions.
Mhm.
We create solutions to increase revenue.
And I love that idea. I mean, you kind of just hinted at it, but the consultations, that's, if you think about it, such a powerful weapon for any graduate developer. Imagine on your website and on social media, you advertise that you're offering free consultations if you need a website or an app developed. Because look, we get approached by companies so often looking for web developers, these small companies, whether it's family or friends or someone who heard about us online, and they need a website or app developed. And the common denominator with every single one of them is that they don't know where to start at all. They have absolutely no knowledge about web designing or about IT in general. And
Yeah,
so more than looking for a web developer, they're looking for someone to guide them. So you could use that as a way to position yourself. Start off by offering these consultations for free, but then you turn every single one who takes up that offer into a lead, and you provide them or you offer them the solution at a
yeah,
price.
definitely, 100%. Um, it goes like this, right? I'll give you all some perspective in IT Varsity. I handle sales. Um, Myself and my team handle sales. And our problem isn't uh getting people aware that IT Varsity exists. It's explaining to them what IT Varsity can do for them. And that's where most people fail. They make it all about themselves and their product and what their
Mhm.
product can do and all that flashy nonsense that if you really take a step back and look at yourself from a third person, you look kind of pretentious. You look
Mm.
because people want to hear you talk about them. What can you do for them? I'm not telling you I'm building you a website for your company. What do you want on your website? No, I'm saying I saw your company. I have some suggestions for how I would like to set up your website. This is it. I want to improve your search engine optimization so it increases organic traffic flow. I want to define uh, more simplistic processes for users to interact with your website. Your checkout page is too complicated. Your product page doesn't give relevant information. You go for them and you're giving them specific information regarding them. So your red light content was intriguing enough to say, hey, you know what, this guy speaks a lot of sense. Let me approach him. And when they approach you, you give them so much value that them not employing you is simply not an option anymore.
Mhm.
Because there's I don't know if you ever heard of FOMO.
Mhm.
Like
Fear of missing
FOMO,
out.
fear of missing out. Businesses suffer from FOMO a lot because if their competitor has something and their competitor is doing something better, you bring that up, they will feel FOMO, and that's honestly a company's Achilles heel are their pride and the fact that they want better and they want to make more money, right? So you're offering them solutions to do both of those, to look better than your competitor and to make more money. You kind of leave them no option but to pursue your product.
Mhm. Right, right, right. So it's if you think about it, it's creating this funnel, which is exactly what it is. I mean, in the sales world, we refer to it as a sales funnel. At the top is where you just get people's attention, and then you guide them one step to the next, to the bottom of the funnel where they eventually purchase.
Yeah, newspaper ads don't work for entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? Billboards don't work for entrepreneurs. It's not enough to just show people a product. It has to be what you can specifically do for your client.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying. It's not a one
Yeah.
size fits all. and your content helps that authenticity. Your consultation
Yeah,
helps that
yeah.
authenticity.
And that's a problem that we experienced and we didn't really know we were experienced. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs will go through that. When you start marketing, you look at what everyone else in the industry is doing. And so you create this, you can say this very generic sales language about marketing yourself, about marketing your products or your skills. And it's just not appealing to most people at all anymore. If you're talking about giant companies that have tens of thousands or millions of rands in budget, it works for them. You put a billboard with this generic slogan, you got a couple thousand people a day passing that. I'm sure one or two of them is going to get through. But when you're a small little startup or an entrepreneur and you have a very small reach, that doesn't work at all. Then it's
No,
all
no.
about personal. And you have to treat every single potential client, every single potential lead as an individual and talk to them on a one-to-one level. Don't try to do a one size fits all approach for that.
Yeah.
Every single client is a person that you have to deal with as an individual
Yeah.
and have a unique offering for them.
I think a good example, a good thing to research after this webinar is over, a very good concept to research is a bell curve. Uh, my father often gets us to understand the concept of the bell curve and why it's so important. And he reiterates it so much. It makes so much sense, though. A bell curve is a trajectory, a company's trajectory. If you look at it like a graph, it goes up and down, right?
Mhm.
When a company is at its infancy, right, when it's still rising, you need to make sure when you push you so you're pushing your company over the hill and you're trying to get it to a point where it's critical mass, it's making money for itself, it's the snowball effect. But to push it over that hill, you need to look after your existing clients. It doesn't end at the sale, it starts at the sale because the service that you provide your customer will make it so that
Mm.
the sales process next time becomes way easier because now you have somebody that vouches for your product. If you don't
Mhm.
look after your customers today, you will have no customers tomorrow because word travels, people talk. Eventually,
Yeah.
and entrepreneurs live off repeat clients. You get a few clients, you run maintenance on their website, you set for life,
Mhm.
essentially. You kind of have a good income stream. You're giving about 2 hours a day. It- that's the ideal
Yeah.
spot.
And then for developers especially, that's important because you charge a once-off development fee. Let's just say hypothetically that's about 5,000 rands, right? That's a once-off, it's in the bank, it's done. But then you sign them up for you put your clients on a retainer, maybe 300-400 rands a month for just to handle updates or any major changes they want to do to their website. Now, if you get 10 of those, 10 clients, and you put them all on that retainer at, again, let's just say 300 rands a month, that's 3,000 rands every single month for almost no work because general updates and maintenance doesn't take that much time. At worst, you're going to be putting in like 2-3 hours a week for all
Yeah,
10 clients. So that's the importance of keeping your clients happy and
yeah,
keeping them there, keeping them
yeah,
engaged.
definitely, definitely. It's crucial. It's definitely very crucial. And I don't see many questions, so I'll just keep talking for now. I
Guys,
see
if you have any questions, please do let us know.
William has a question when we post our work on social media, should we tag IT Varsity? Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
tag IT Varsity because A, it makes us extremely happy to see
Mhm.
that. We love seeing that. B, we share it. Uh, we love to have oversight. We share it. There's an Instagram group um, that's a collaboration of IT Varsity students, and we simply love that concept a lot. Um, uh, I know Bilal loves to see the students' works. he often requests them and goes through y'all's POEs. So you might have went through y'all's POEs. Just make sure it's in tip-top shape constantly, because yeah, he takes a lot of pride in seeing what y'all put out. And you know,
Yeah.
he is a very important man. He's a very networked man. And we're going to networks a bit, but
Mhm.
if you, we're not gonna say we're gonna do you a favor by sharing your post. No, the perspective is different. The perspective is your posts are gonna be so impressive that we won't help but share them because it makes IT
Mhm.
Varsity look good.
Absolutely. Then, I mean, and also another point about those the portfolio websites is make sure they're in tip-top shape, because your portfolio may have been demoed in front of quite large audiences or in front of very high ranking
Yeah,
individuals. Uh, because when Bilal has these events or these meetings with whether it's government officials or other institutes or potential business partners, he always likes to show off his students a little bit, because what you guys do is truly impressive. And so he'll request a handful of portfolio websites or some of your projects. Null or myself will go through the system, just take some of our favorites or some of the latest and send them through to him. And then he will show you guys off in front of, well, sometimes a few hundred people. So just make sure
yeah.
your stuff is looking good. Um, Daniel asks, what exactly should we post? Is it just our final products or our code as well?
I can't really speak for you
Mhm,
because this is something that's created. See, what I'm getting at is not as part of your school curriculum, post your work, it's going to get 0 views. You need to see, A, what is my personal investment in this? What aspects do I enjoy the most? What aspects do I like um, telling people about more?
mhm,
You know, what are the questions out there that people have? You are a content creator, you have to make a content strategy. We can have another webinar later on. Maybe I will show you all how to lay out a content plan. I don't know
mhm.
if you'd want to do that, Tala, but that would
Definitely,
be
because
very
my mind
interesting.
is running with ideas right now that I wish we had more time to get into. Uh, like, okay, just an example, right? And maybe you guys, especially those who are wanting to get into freelance development, even if it's just for the time being, but you can do something like this, right? Sure, you can post your final products and your code, but think about what you're trying to achieve, right? So if you are going that way, you want to attract businesses to give you um their business, right? They have development needs. You want them to approach you with that. So put out content to attract that kind of personalities. So at the top of my head, examples would be the benefits of small businesses having websites. Talk about that. Create a little bit of fear. Talk about what they're missing out by not having a website. That's going to create kind of some attention, and in a very subtle way, plug your website. They go to your website, offer them a free consultation. Listen, you need tech, you don't know where to start. I've studied this. Let's have a conversation free of charge, and I'll just like kind of outline what you need. And at the end of that session, you pitch your website. That's a lovely little funnel. And maybe if you guys want some homework, try kicking off something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. I think so. So just a few more questions. So Google is offering a cool digital marketing course on Coursera. I just started. I can't give much feedback, but so far so good. Yeah, I've done many courses on Coursera back in the day as well. I've done Google's marketing courses as well. I'm not sure if it was the exact same one, but okay. Unfortunately, the gist is going to be it's gonna be it's very high level, very
mhm,
catch-all type of content, especially from Google. They try to attract businesses and things a lot more, and they're doing good work. I would recommend doing as many courses as possible, but ultimately it's the simplest thing that matters the most, which is know your objective and make content that speaks to that objective, like Tala said. Um, so Tala, William has a
mhm.
other
I
question.
was
I
just
think you
saying
can
that.
take
So,
that one.
yeah, is there any way of locking our code to prevent others from copying the website? Will we learn about this later on? William, by that I'm guessing you mean the code on GitHub. So with GitHub, you can actually turn your repositories onto to private. That way, only people who you give access to can view your code. Um, the trouble with that though is on the free tier of GitHub, your pages, your GitHub pages, the where people can actually demo your app in the browser. That only works if your GitHub account or that GitHub repo is on public. Um, but if you upgrade to a premium tier, I'm not exactly sure how much it is, then you can have it on private, but also have your pages displayed.
Yeah, but it also it speaks back to what I said about, not putting all your eggs in one basket. You are an excellent coder,
Mhm.
but nobody wants to hire just a coder. You have to say, I am a solver of problems. I'm not just coding a website for you, but rather creating a solution for you. And that's where the real value is. So people can steal your website, how it looks, but they'll never be able to achieve what you achieve because, again, there's a lot more that goes behind it.
Mhm. Now, what I'm referring to is if you view any website, you can save the website to your PC and get all of the code. Oh, like in the inspector. Yeah,
The
but
element
that
inspector.
yeah, that's very basic things. And well, it's true, you can get that for just about any website you visit, but there's not much you can do with that.
Yeah, there's
It's kind of
third-party
useless.
plugins to look to, like, that
Mm,
they won't carry any information. The images won't carry information. Your contact forms won't carry any information. So it'll literally just be basic what HTML, CSS
yeah,
kind of.
it's just a facade of your website, but without any of
Yeah,
the actual
you can't.
functionality behind it. And
Yeah,
the problem with that also is if you need to edit and make changes, you're going to be editing pure HTML and CSS, and that's going to take you forever to do the simplest things. Whereas if you're working with the actual WordPress or whatever engine you're working on, it'll take you a couple of seconds.
yeah.
Mm. So that's
It's
not, yeah, it's not really a problem in the
this.
development
Yeah,
world.
there's no way to really fix that, but also there's nothing much anybody can really do with that.
Mm.
Basically, in the gist of it. Yeah.
Okay, we are actually 5 minutes over time, so I think we'll wrap up
Yeah.
here. I think we just got a few more questions that came through. Let's just tackle those and then
Yeah.
we'll call it a day.
So I think, William, I think the best solution for you there, if you really are concerned about, like, I think what you're speaking of is you get duplicate sites that scam people based on it.
Mm.
But there's things you have to look at, like URLs. And I don't know
Hmm.
if you've noticed that little lock at the top left of a web page. There's various elements that ensure a website is sort of secure. And people can copy a website by just looking at it. They don't need your code because everything on a website is an element that can be replicated. It's not something to really concern yourself over,
Hmm.
especially in this stage.
Hmm.
Um, and
Kunashi asks, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
once you're
Oh,
done.
Nas, yes,
Oh,
if I am
yeah,
understanding the statement, so basically coding is all about providing solutions to problems. Yes.
exactly. 110%. If you think about it from our world, because we are developers, we're familiar with the language and coding is everything to us. But to someone out there, it doesn't matter at all. The only thing they want to know is, I have a problem. Can you give me a solution? They don't like the majority of clients that you're going to approach, they don't really know about coding or what it is or how awesome it is, right? That's irrelevant to them. The only thing they want to know is what you can do for them or how you
Yeah.
can help them. And that's why your comment hit it on the head.
Yeah.
When you go out and you
It's
approach people, it's all about what you can do for
yeah.
them, what problems you can solve for them using
Right.
coding.
When you're building a house, right? You want to make sure it's livable and the toilet isn't in the kitchen.
Mhm.
something more drastic, you know. You have to look at the paint, you have to look at the furniture, you
Mhm.
have to look at the appliances, the plug point, everything. It's the same. It's a solution. It's a housing solution. It's a comfort solution. It's you know, if it's for kids, you gotta create that
Mhm.
house with baby proofing in mind, family, how type of situation. So website is the same. No two
Yeah.
websites are gonna be the same. Otherwise, you're gonna get yeah, a very ineffective website because it's not plugging into that company's specific
Mm.
problems and requirements and needs.
Yeah. And the other thing to be wary of is you have to, the language you use has to be understandable to the person you're talking to. For example, right, building on that analogy of building a house. If I am an expert builder and I want to offer, Zach, you, for example, I want to offer my services to you, I'm going to build a house for you. If I start off by talking about where I got my builder's qualifications and the type of bricks that I'm going to use. These bricks are, tempered at certain degrees, so they are extra strong and they were manufactured by so and so company. Probably going to go over your head, right? The only thing is that you want to know is, yes, I can build a house for you. I know you like such and such configurations. I can do that for you. You want a skylight in your bedroom? 100%, I can do that for you. Here's my designs. That's suddenly, that's a lot more appealing. So it's the same thing when you're coding. Don't go too much into the details. It goes over most people's heads. Rather, understand what they are asking, like what they want out of a website, and then pitch them a solution based on that.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah. Let's do the content strategy uh a webinar as well. I would love to do that. I think that'll definitely bring you a pen and paper type of
Mhm.
session because there'll be a lot of activities and exercises to do there that I would love to kick off. So whenever, just let me
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah, let me work on scheduling that in our webinar timetable. And I think we'll give everyone else also a bit more of a heads up so they know what to expect coming into that because there's going to be a lot to cover in that session. But yeah, guys, I think we leave it there for today. Um, oh, we have one more question from William. You want to take that one before we close off?
Yeah, okay. Let's end up with that question. Is it our code that matters or is it the product that matters? Uh, so yeah, let me put it this way. It's a harsh reality, but anybody can learn to code. But not everybody has the fortitude, the prowess, the business skill, the creativity, the passion that you have. And that's why you'll ultimately do better because you want to not code the best, but you want to create the best website. You're not, you'll be less worried as to how neat your code is, more worried about how happy your clients are, how
Mhm.
satisfied your clients are. Um, it's like people get decision fatigue, whether to go Python, Java, or what. Do either one. We give you the option, but do either one and excel at it, and you can be the best because you understand people and you understand their products, and you take that personal time to create something that you're proud of. The code is just your pencil, the website is your artwork. So focus on that product.
Mhm.
Hone your skills with the pencil, with your coding, but focus on the product.
Create products that solve problems. That's what really matters ultimately. And with that, I think we leave it. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I am looking forward to that follow-up session. So we'll keep
Yeah,
you guys posted
yeah,
on when
same.
that will be. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye, everyone.
Take care.